这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的英语能力在美国日常生活是完全够用的，对别人表达自己的想法也是没有问题的。像学母语一样学英语，我们开始吧。
Just one moment can change a whole life to something new. Django was a man with dark skin. A long, long time ago in a part of America, this meant he was not free. He was made to work for others and was called a slave. He had a wife. Her name was Broomhilda. He loved her very, very much, but bad men had taken them away from each other. Django's heart hurt all the time with sadness and anger because of this. He was walking in a line with other men, tied with ropes. Some rough men were taking them through the cold woods. Then the strange light got closer. It was a lantern on a small cart pulled by a horse. A man got out of the cart. He had a kind-looking face and a neat little beard. He said he was a doctor who helped with teeth, and his name was King Schultz. But this doctor did another job, too. He caught bad men for money. Dr. Schultz was looking for Django, not to hurt him. He needed Django to help him find some very bad men because Django knew what they looked like. The men who were leading Django with ropes were mean. They did not want to let Django go. The doctor was very smart with his words. He was even faster with his gun. Zip! Bang! One of the mean men fell down and did not move. The other was hurt. The doctor untied Django's ropes. "I need your help, Django," the doctor said. "Help me find these bad men. If you do, I will give you your full freedom. You will not be a slave anymore, and I will give you money too." Django thought of Broomhilda. If he was free, he could try to find her. "I will help you," he said. His voice was soft, but his eyes looked strong. So Django and the doctor, Schultz, started working together. Schultz was a good man, even if his job was full of danger. He treated Django like a friend, not like a slave. He taught Django how to read words. He taught him how to shoot a gun very well. He taught him how to catch bad men. Django learned fast. He was smart. He was also very good at shooting. They found the bad men they were looking for. These men were called the Brittle Brothers. They were at a very big farm where many slaves were made to work hard. The Brittle Brothers had hurt many people. They had hurt Django and Broomhilda a long time ago. When Django saw them, all the sad and angry feelings inside him made him aim his gun very carefully. He helped the doctor catch them. For the first time in a long, long time, Django felt a little bit of power. He felt a little bit of hope. They worked together all winter. It was very cold. They caught more bad men. Django got his freedom, just like the doctor promised. He also got money. But his heart was always thinking about Broomhilda. "I must find my wife," he told Schultz. Schultz had started to like Django very much. Like a good friend, he promised to help. "We will find her, Django," he said. They asked questions and listened for news. They found out something terrible. Broomhilda was now at a very big farm in a place called Mississippi. This farm was owned by a very rich man. He was also a very mean man. His name was Calvin Candy. The farm was called Candyland. They heard that Broomhilda had tried to run away to find Django. She had been punished very badly for trying. Django's heart burned with worry. He felt so angry. He had to get her back. Schultz thought of a very clever plan. It was also very dangerous. Candy liked a bad game where men fought each other. Sometimes the men got hurt very badly, or even died. These fighters were called mandingos. "We will act like we want to buy one of Candy's best fighters," Schultz told Django. "We will say we will pay a lot of money, so much money that he will be very interested. Django, you will act like you are my helper. You will be a free black man who knows all about these fighters." Django was worried. Act like that? At Candyland? It's too dangerous. It is the only way, Schultz said. When we are there making the big deal for the fighter, we will see Broomhilda. Then we will say we also like her. We will say we want to buy her for a small price. We will act like she is not very important to us. Candy will be thinking so much about the big money for the fighter, he might say yes. It was a plan with many risks. Django would have to act like someone he was not. He would be in a place full of people who could hurt him. But to save Broomhilda, he would do anything. Candyland was a pretty place on the outside. It had a big white house and green fields. But on the inside, it was an ugly place, full of fear. Calvin Candy acted like a fancy man from a country called France, but his eyes were cold. His smile was often mean. He loved to show everyone how much power he had. And then there was Stephen. Stephen was an old black man. He was Candy's top house slave. He had been with Candy's family his whole life. He acted like he loved Candy very much. He would bow and say nice things. But Stephen was very, very smart. His eyes saw everything. He was as mean as Candy, but in his own quiet, watchful way. He did not like Django from the first time he saw him. Soon after Django and Schultz got to Candyland, Candy did a very terrible thing. He wanted to show them his power. A slave had tried to run away. Candy told his dogs to hurt the man very badly. They all had to watch. It was an awful, sad thing to see. Schultz looked pale. He felt sick. Django's heart filled with a cold, hard anger. This was the kind of bad man who owned his Broomhilda. Then Candy brought Broomhilda to them. She was very beautiful, but her eyes were full of sadness. She had been hurt from her hard life at Candyland. When Django saw her, his heart almost stopped beating. He had to act like he did not know her very well. He had to act like she was just another slave. But their eyes met for just a second. In that one look, so much love, so much sadness, and so much hope went between them. Broomhilda, too, had to hide what she felt. But a little light of surprise and hope came into her eyes when she saw Django. He was free and looked proud. That night there was a big dinner in Candy's fancy dining room. Everyone had to act like they were friends. Django and Schultz acted like they wanted to buy a fighter. Candy acted like he was a kind man having guests. But under all the polite words, the room felt tight with danger. Stephen watched Django and Broomhilda all the time. His sharp old eyes saw the way they sometimes looked at each other. They did it when they thought no one was watching. He started to think something was not right. Stephen was very clever. He told Calvin Candy what he thought. "That Django," Stephen whispered to Candy, "he knows that girl Broomhilda. They are not just strangers." Candy got very, very angry. He felt like he had been tricked. He felt like they made him look like a fool in his own house. He stopped acting polite. At the end of the dinner, they were supposed to make the deal for the fighter. But Candy suddenly changed. His face was red. His voice was hard. "You don't want a fighter," he said to Schultz and Django. "You want my Broomhilda. And you, Django, you are her husband." Their secret was out. They were in very big danger. Candy said, "You will pay me the big money, $12,000, for Broomhilda. If you don't, she will be hurt badly, and you will never leave this place." Schultz knew they were caught. He loved Django like his own son. He had to save Broomhilda. He said he would pay all that money. The papers were signed. Broomhilda was now, by the law, free. But Candy was not done. He was proud and mean. He held out his hand to Schultz. "Now," Candy said with a nasty smile, "we shake hands." That will finish the deal. Schultz looked at Candy's hand. He thought of all the terrible things Candy had done. He thought of all the people Candy had hurt. The doctor was usually so calm and smart, but he could not do it. He could not touch the hand of such a bad man. I am sorry, Schultz said. His voice was quiet but strong. He looked at Candy with a very unhappy face. I just couldn't stop myself. And then, with a tiny gun he had hidden in his sleeve, Schultz shot Calvin Candy. In the very next second, one of Candy's men shot Schultz. The kind doctor, Django's friend and teacher, fell to the floor. He did not move anymore. He was gone. Everything turned into a big, loud fight. Django was so sad that Schultz was gone. He was so angry at Candy's men. He fought like a strong lion. Guns were shooting everywhere. Men were falling, but there were too many of them. Django was caught. Stephen, his face full of mean happiness, made sure Django was punished. Broomhilda was locked up again. Her hope was almost all gone. Django was told he would be sent to a dark, dangerous mine. He would have to work there until he died. Some rough men were taking him away. Django knew he had to think fast. He had one of Schultz's old papers about a wanted bad man. He started to tell the men a story. He said he knew where a whole group of bad men were hiding. He said these bad men were worth a lot of money if they were caught. He was so good with his words. He made them believe his story. The men believed him. They gave him a gun. That was their big mistake. Django, who was quick and smart, turned things around on them. Soon, he was free again, and he had their guns and some special exploding sticks. He rode back to Candyland. He had a very important job to do. He found Broomhilda. This time, no one would stop him from making her free. He took care of the last of Candy's mean helpers. Then he faced Stephen. Stephen was in the big house shouting angry things. "You won't get away with this, Django," Stephen yelled. "I think I will, Stephen," Django said in a calm voice. He had put the exploding sticks all around the big white house. That house had seen so much sadness and pain. He lit the fuse. He and Broomhilda rode their horses far enough away to be safe. They watched as Candyland, the place that stood for all that was bad and mean, blew up. It made a giant ball of fire and smoke. It was like all the terrible memories, all the unfairness, was burning up and going away. Django and Broomhilda sat on their horses next to each other. They watched the fire. Then they turned their horses and rode away. They were free. The night sky was full of stars above them. They had a long, hard road in front of them, but they would be together to face it. Django, who was once a slave, had become Django, the hero. He had fought for his love and his freedom, and he had won.
你太棒了！你学完了全部内容，你离英语自由又近了一步。下个视频见。